Hi everybody, Marty Rubin, and I'm back with another segment of Marty's Corner. And we have a very unique guest today, okay? This is a supremely talented concert pianist, and his name is Julian, the Pianist with the Hair. Come on out here, Julian.
Hello, Marty.
My God, and you didn't get hurt or anything, right?
No, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yeah. Is this Howard Stern's son that I'm looking at here?
Well, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, Uncle Howie.
Yes, yes. You ever, if you're walking in the city, does anybody ever say to you?
Yeah, no, and I usually get people to say, has anybody ever told you?
Right.
And it's, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I've heard
Yes.
that one before.
So I have to tell you, I've watched some of your concerts. I mean, you are really, really talented. I mean, it's unbelievable. When I look back if I'm watching a baseball game, okay, and I see a Ken Griffey Jr. or I see a Pedro Martinez or Mike Piazza, I mean, I don't say those are good ball players. And it's the same thing I would say. I wouldn't say, Julian, you're a good piano player. You are at another level. I mean, when did you know, at what age, that you had a special gift?
2 weeks ago, an iPad application. Great. I started when I was young, and I never looked back. I was very lucky because I knew what I loved, and I
Yes.
just went for it. And,
Did you always, in the beginning, was it just all serious? In other words, just, doing a concert?
Yeah, I grew up in Italy, and it was just like conservatory training.
Right.
It's a 10-year program. It's like a double manslaughter conviction. So yeah, and then I studied and studied and studied, and then it became different for me because I didn't like the whole serious piano concert.
Right.
I felt it was really like a big barrier between me and the audience to just come out in a tuxedo and sit down and play. So I didn't do that.
So at what point did you say, you know what, I'm going to mix comedy with this tremendous, musical ability that I have?
Well, it's a bit schizophrenic. The going from the very, very focused Beethoven, Chopin, Rachmaninoff, to then just talking to an audience and like, what's up? Like, but it wasn't a sudden thing that happened.
Right.
It happened over time.
Well, how are you? I mean, I'm picturing a baseball player up at bat, trying to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's telling jokes to the umpire and the catcher. I don't know how they do that. So how are you able to be as good as you are?
I'm sensing, Marty, you're more of a baseball fan than a
No,
classical music.
I appreciate what you do, absolutely. But how are you able to play and concentrate and then kid around? That's two different things.
It's two different things. That's what I was saying. It's a bit schizophrenic. I think it just comes from the fact that I love making people laugh and feel good, and I guess the classical training helps with the being super focused.
Right.
And then when I'm not actually playing, I'm not at all in. It's as if you go into a different world and then you come out into another different world.
Right. Now you've played all over the world. I mean, where are some of the places that you've played?
Well, just down the street at Carnegie.
Very nice.
At Carnegie Hall, and I have a tour coming up in Australia. I say coming up. These things, they organize them. So that's October 2024. But yeah, I mean, I play all over really, wherever they invite me, basically.
Yes. So if you're playing in, let's say, Italy,
Sure.
or Germany or United States, do you have to have a different approach with the different audiences? Like, is the humor different in one country where you can't be as funny, or how you have to interact with the audience?
Well, I mean, maybe I'm kind of always me. I think the reaction is sometimes different. If you're playing in Singapore, there's less of the, belly laughing.
Yes.
It's more of the subdued laughter.
Right.
But yeah, I remember the first time I kind of did my show. It was in a very serious theater in Verona, like the Philharmonic Hall, where people just, they just do really serious stuff.
They're dressed up.
They get dressed up. They don't want, it's like a whole code that they're following. And I said, yeah, but I'm doing my show, and people were like very discouraging. They said no, they're not going to like it. This is not what it. And then I did it, and everybody loved it. Because I think at the end of the day, people want to have fun. They want to break out.
Yes.
Especially if they're like at a classical show where they already know they have to be. Did I clap at the wrong moment? Did I do this?
Right.
And my show is completely different.
What would you say is the biggest challenge for you? That kind of a setting where it's a very serious setting and they're expecting you to just do, Beethoven, Chopin, and they're not expecting anything funny, and then you hit them with some of this humor, and you're a very funny guy. Is that a bigger challenge, or is the challenge like somebody who loves your humor but isn't really, that attuned with the music you're playing? Which is a tougher convert for you?
Well, I definitely love when people come after a show and say, oh, I dragged my husband. He hates classical music, and now he really, he loved it. He didn't want to, leave. So that's a big, personal favorite of mine.
Right.
But I think both of those are interesting and fun to work with.
Right.
Where they're really classical music buffs, but then you in any case you entertain them.
Yes.
Even though they know, because there is some information that I'm giving. It's not
Right,
just
right.
pure insanity. But they, so they might learn something as well. I think in general people aren't opposed to learning.
Right. So take us through a little bit of the journey of what a concert is like for you. So January 12th, a Friday night at 8 o'clock at the Argyle Theater is going to be the concert, the Pianist with the Hair.
I'm glad you got it
Yes,
right.
you got to be very careful with
Gotta
that one.
get that to you.
Yes, very key. So give us a little idea of what the format would be for an evening like that.
Well, it's just going to be me, a piano, and a microphone, and I will not do any singing. I promise, right up front. I'm going to be playing some serious music. The selections, though, are not very long, so you're not going to have to sit through 30 minutes of music like that.
Right.
So they're shorter pieces, and pieces that you'll be familiar with, especially the ones I wrote, not. But you'll have Beethoven, you'll have your usual suspects.
Yes.
There might be some tango thrown in for good measure. I like
Right,
that too.
right.
On the other hand, you will learn involuntarily, of course, about me and my life and how I came to be who I am through some of these anecdotes
Yes.
that are related to music and not sometimes. But also, I'll probably talk about the day itself and normally I run onto the stage. I jump onto the stage. But there's
Yes.
that orchestral pit,
Yes, we
which I
don't-
know you like to fill with crocodiles. So it's going to be
Keep
more
the fans away
challenging.
from you.
Yes.
Yes. So can you not get a haircut if you're the pianist with the hair? Are you not allowed to get a haircut?
Well, the hair grew out when I studied in Moscow, and I just wasn't sure of the hairstylists in Moscow, so I stopped cutting it. And then it grew out like this, and I liked it.
Yeah, it
So
looks great.
I just kept it, and it's very easy, really. You just kind of wake up with it. There's very little you can do with it.
Yes.
And so it became my thing.
It's the look.
my thing,
It's
yeah.
it's all the logos and everything.
Plus, I think Uncle Howie would be very annoyed if
Oh
I
my
cut
God!
it at this point.
Should we invite him here? And-
I think so.
Does he think he has a long
Howard
lost son?
Stern, if you are out there, please come to the show, January 12th.
Well, listen, we really appreciate you being on Marty's Corner. This is going to be a unique evening, Friday, January 12th at 8 p.m. You will get to see Julian doing his thing like nobody else can, and it's a fantastic experience. So we can't wait to see you at the Argyle Theater.
See you there.